Take a spin, now you're in. Techno set, you're going circle on the internet.
Beats of the internet. Today, we're gonna talk about Homestuck. I'm so glad Cidermer is finally allowing me to talk about the best story on the internet. I understand you was doing this for my own good. If the Homestuck episode was the first episode, then it would have been a lot worse, lol. But now, I'm finally ready. I also have found something really special.
Yo, have you seen my phone? I think I forgot it here. Oh, fuck no, dude. Is that Homestuck?
Oh no, you don't. You were not gonna distract me from covering Homestuck this time.
I'm not gonna just distract you. I'm gonna stop you. We're not doing the cringy webcomic because it's gonna be a huge waste of time.
I won't back down this time, Cybermare. Especially because I've done something really cool for this episode. Check this out.
A command prompt?
No, it's a copy of the Spirit game. The game the characters played is stuck inside in Homestuck. I torrented it from somewhere deep hidden in the internet. I didn't even know Spirit was real.
You can't be serious.
I am. Look, I'll show you.
That sounds like a big fat virus to me.
No, I haven't tested it yet, but I'm sure it's
We're
safe.
not taking that risk.
But please, it's Homestuck. It's
Holy
gotta be
shit, stop
something
being a
epic.
toddler.
Where am I? Oh dear, I'm in this third game. It's like the characters in Homestuck. And I got my planet too. There's so lots of things I want to do. I don't know where to stop.
Manon, you must listen to me. You are indeed in Sburb. Look into Skya. This world is only a demo. Once the demo ends, so does the world. You can try to stop the battle between good and evil happening in the center of Skya. But the game is not meant to be won in this demo state. I'm sorry.
Oh, but that means we'll be okay, right? When the countdown ends?
I'm afraid not.
Uh-oh, this is suddenly pretty spooky. If only Cybermare was here. Wait, Cybermare, can I try calling her?
You could try.
She's answering. I'm gonna go call her.
I wish you best in your quest.
Cybermare, where are you? Are you on your very own planet too?
I don't know where I am. It's like dark with a bunch of brick walls all around.
Okay, you must be on your very own planet. When you play Stir, every player gets their own planet.
Okay, so we did just get sent into the game. Thanks a lot, Manon.
With pleasure. We're gonna let the same adventure in Homestuck, and you'll finally see how good that webcomic is.
God fucking damn it. Hey, should we be worried about the giant countdown up there?
Oh, yeah. My Longcat sprite said it's gonna pretty much end the game with us inside.
Shit. And did they say anything on how to escape?
Nope, in normal Stir, you have to fight Inspire and defeat the Black King to win and escape. But this is a demo we're in, so maybe winning wasn't prevented.
Fucking hell, dude. Isn't there like a more helpful NPC in the game that could help us?
Oh, each of our planet hides a very powerful and knowledgeable creature called a denizen. I think we should try seeing them. They'll know what to do.
And where are they?
Well, do you have a computer or phone nearby?
Duh, I got my phone, but it's kinda running like shit because it seems to be always running some sort of spur app.
Oh, and what can you do with it?
I see you. Looks like I can use it to edit your house and build stuff.
Okay, so I'm the Homestuck connoisseur, so here's the plan. You build my house up to a gate that should be up there that leads to my denizen. And if they can't help, we can always try your denizen on your planet.
But I need that resource to build though. You know, grist?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to explore my planet to farm that grist by battling monsters. I should find plenty in here, at least from what I remember in Homestuck.
Okay, yeah, I get it. You get resources and I build your hum up to that denizen gate.
Yay, let's go find my denizen.
Alright. I wonder if I have one of those helpers around.
You're talking about me, Violet.
No fucking way, man, it's shitty drawing.
What do you want, Dolly?
So, cringe.
You better blank it.
Hey, shitty version of me, what happens if we die in the demo?
You die just like your mom if you don't look like it is supposed.
Fuck, there's like, no revival mechanics?
And before, you can still that trick, you know that.
Okay, cool. You're really embarrassing to talk with, but one more thing. How do I do that before I never speak to you ever again?
Friends? Okay, so do you. You're stuck in the land of walls and knights, of the Dr. Peg. Go find the highest landmark and then make sure you have a
Hi, fellow internet explorers. It's Manon from the future. Looks like we're going on another adventure. But don't worry, I'll explain to you what Homestuck actually is during these little intermissions. First of all, Homestuck is a webcomic. It is commonly called a webcomic, but it is so much more than just a comic hosted on the internet. Because Homestuck utilizes the fact that it's hosted on the internet to its fullest. Let's examine a page of Homestuck, because they follow a pretty unique formula. On top of the page is a comment. It's telling a character what to do. These comments were suggested by readers on a dedicated forum. So, in a way, Homestuck was sort of an interactive comic when it was being published. Under the comment, you have a drawing. It shows the character doing the comment, or at least, trying to do the comment. Under the picture is a text describing the action of the character. If the characters are talking to each other, which is done most of the time on a computer or a phone, you'll see the chat log of both characters. The very bottom of the page is the comment of the next page, which is what you click to advance in the story. I mentioned earlier that Homestuck utilizes the fact that it's hosted on the internet to its fullest. It's because of so many things. The picture can be a GIF showing a little animation. There can also be a flash file replacing a picture, which means one page can have music, long animations, and it can even be a game. This is what you might have heard about Homestuck having a whole discography of awesome tunes, despite being called a webcomic. Even the webpage itself can change depending what's happening in the comic. This is what I mean with Homestuck utilizes the fact that it's hosted on a webpage to its fullest. Homestuck is an internet comic made for the internet. It cannot provide the same experience if it was adapted into a book. As you can see, there's a ton to talk about, and we haven't even talked about the story. Homestuck is very dense with lots of plots and characters to follow, so I'll keep the synopsis very brief. I wouldn't want to spoil the story anyway. Homestuck is a story of 4 kids who want to play Spur. It's the cool and new game that we're playing in the episode, but it seems a lot more advanced than any other game because it allows players to alter each other's homes, IRL. This game is also pretty advanced because it might be directly linked to the sudden fall of hundreds of meteorites on Earth. Is the game causing the end of the world? Is the game going to save them? You'll get the answer to these questions after like 500 pages or something, but the comic is over 8,000 pages long, so you know this game and the world of Homestuck has a lot of secrets for you to discover. Anyway, let's get back to what happened in our playthrough of the Stir demo.
You are now the gullible Gumshoe, the most competent detective in all of Durst. Your non-existent competition is no match for your incredible skills. Not that it should ever be a competition. This isn't a game for kids. This is serious business. Sadly, most days at the office have been spent doing jack shit lately. Not much crime has been happening on Durst, which is good, you think, but you can't help but feel incredibly bored. At least you're still bringing in the dough with this now borderline fictitious job. What will you do? Check the safe, just in case it's not a fake one. You check the safe, and it is indeed a real safe. Why would there even be a non-functioning safe in your office? The idea strikes you as ridiculous. Examine Spiky Flail Thing. This is the weapon provided for your sleuthing if things ever get a little too heated, which they never do. Still, you would have preferred something more sleuthish, like a gun. It seems like whoever provided your sleuthing attire and flail have no sense of taste for what detectives are all about. Is there anything more badass than a hard-boiled detective? The mysterious personalities, the glamorous attires. You start to swoon just thinking about it again. This is what you signed up for, none of that weird punkish cat girl secret agent look. Sniff the flail. You take a whiff of the flail, and this thing reeks of metal, either because it's been used numerous times and the weapon is now forever tainted with the stench of blood, or because it's literally a big metal ball. No one will ever know. Pick up the flail. You pick up the flail. This thing is quite heavy and may be more dangerous to yourself than whoever you'll be trying to hit with it. Might as well keep it close though. You equip the flail to your weapon slot. Gaze outside the window. You look outside the office window to check if anything has changed outside. Nope, everything is still the same. You got a pretty nice view of Durst's moon, where the hero's tower stands tall. This is where the fabled Hero of Void rests, or so you heard. No one is really sure if there's actually anyone in there. A lot of things are uncertain on this planet. There's an ongoing war out there, the people of Durst are as divided as ever, you can feel something's wrong, and yet you're just wandering aimlessly in your office. There's gotta be something for a gumshoe like you to do. Dial a number on the phone. You dial a random number on the phone. As you expected, nothing happens. Oh, the things boredom can make you do. Order a pizza. I eat when I'm bored. Oh, that's a good idea. But upon further inspection, you realize your phone isn't plugged into anything. No wonder this thing never worked. Wait a minute, could this be why you never received any sleuthing job calls? Destroy phone. Why would you do that? This seems like quite the fiery reaction to learning your phone has never worked and might be solely responsible for your incredible boredom. You do feel some anger, but you just gotta find a way to make it work again. Someone suddenly barges into your office, flipping the fuck out, thus making you jump out of fear and drop the phone on the ground. It breaks into pieces immediately. The courtyard droll alerts you that the queen is missing. He cannot do his job of entertaining her. Finally, something actually interesting to do. Jump up and down for an uncomfortable length of time. You would be jumping with joy from finally getting a new mystery to solve if this wasn't so serious. The poor droll finds himself out of a job with no queen to serve. Where could she have gone? Did someone kidnap the queen? It's not like she hasn't made a couple enemies within her own kingdom with the new outfit law. Admire the beauty of the courtyard droll. You see that the courtyard droll is rocking the attire mandated by the queen. Seriously, why does everyone have to wear these ridiculous outfits? Make sure you have your wallet or detective ID before you run off anywhere. The wallet will come in handy to store small items without cluttering your inventory. It's almost full though. You put your wallet in your inventory. Place telephone shards in unique inventory system for use in future shenanigans. You never know. These might come in handy if someone is in dire need of a broken telephone. Go outside the room. You exit your office. You find yourself in the hallway. The world is now your oyster. The possibilities are infinite. It's overwhelming. The droll follows you outside. Put droll in your inventory for safekeeping. The droll gazes at you with disappointment and slight concern. He might be small, but he's not small enough to fit in your inventory. Ask droll for any leads on where to look. You ask the droll about any lead on where the queen could be. He tells you he has no idea, that the queen is usually always around the throne room. You ask if he found any clues around the throne room. He tells you he didn't find anything. It's like she vanished. The droll also warns you about the rumors of the Hero of Void sneaking around the kingdom. The Hero of Void is awake, and now the queen is missing. This cannot be a coincidence. You need to find this person. You strike an epic but serious pose.
So it's weird and random, it's the greatest fandom. So weird. Where's all the monsters and ants to defeat? I meet Chris for Cybermare. Whoa, an NPC! Hi, friend.
By Paradox Space, the hero of light is finally here to... Oh, wait, no, it's some weird-looking cat.
Hey, that's so meany.
Sorry, today is not a happy day in Snake Village. Our holiday's been ruined again.
Oh, what's going on?
It's a long story. The village is literally right here if you want to learn more.
Oh, whoa. Hi, little creatures, what's up?
Today is the day we celebrate electricity, the life force of our world. But Cetus, the denizen of our planet, it has
hoarded all of the planet's knowledge batteries. We cannot celebrate without them. If only the hero of the light could brighten up our day.
Wait, you know where Cetus lives? I need to talk with them. I could ask for some of those knowledge batteries while I'm here too.
Oh, you'll take back the knowledge batteries for us.
No way! Thank you, strange
creature.
Cetus lives over there. Let me show you the way.
No, I'll show the cat the way.
No, I'll show the cat
no
the
need
way.
for fighting. Wait, maybe I can use my web portal. With it, I can enter the Cetus lair and maybe leave the whole game too. Oh, it doesn't work. Epic fail. Oh well, lead the way. Hello, it's me, Monon from the future again. As you heard in the last intermission, Homestuck uses Flash content a lot. Sadly, you might be aware that browsers refuse to run Flash files now. It was fine when Homestuck started in 2009 and ended in 2016. But in 2020, Flash was planned to stop being supported, which would ruin the experience. So, in 2018, the publishing rights to Homestuck were given to Viz Media, and Homestuck is now hosted on a different website with the purpose of making Homestuck readable on phones, and more importantly, work without Flash. Sadly, the results are not great at all. The animations are now low-quality YouTube videos, and the games are just pictures. But worry not, Homestuck is not ruined forever. Fans took it upon themselves to save the comic. The unofficial Homestuck collection is a huge offline browser made to recreate the original experience. There's everything you need in Mystery Homestuck. I will go into details cause that's all for you to discover. I really recommend reading Homestuck for this collection rather than using the lame Viz Media website. Okay, let's get back in our session.
The droll takes you to the perfect place to go when you need to find someone, Jack Noir's office. You're a little nervous at the idea of disturbing Jack Noir. He's kind of a grumpy guy, and also very violent. You really don't want to get on his bad side, but the droll urges you to enter. Remember the last time you spoke to Jack Noir? Well, you never spoke to Jack Noir yourself. You've only seen him wander around talking under his breath. You don't have the guts to talk to him, and if you had, he'd probably stab them. The guts. Last time you saw him was a while ago. He was being dragged out by regulators while wearing quite the handsome outfit. Probably why he was being arrested by the literal fashion police. Inspect the note. You grab the note that's been stabbed onto the door. It's a message from Jack warning about his absence. Guess you'll have to find another way. How convenient. Don't disturb the archagent, just peek at him, grab a glimpse. See? No one's in there. No need for you to enter. Inside his office, you can see Jack's 3/4 cubicle of vigilance. 3 fenestrated walls used to survey the Durst Kingdom. On his desk is unrecognizable paperwork. His coat hanger is wearing a Dursite attire in terrible condition. A strange purple liquid seems to have stained the floor. Kick down the door. Absolutely not. There's no need for that kind of behavior here. If Jack Noir catches you doing that, he will be absolutely furious. You'd be a dead Dursite, that's for sure. Courtyard droll. The gumshoe is hesitating. Fling open the door. Seems like the gumshoe is settled on standing around and being nervous. You really don't understand what her problem is. It's literally just a door. You fling open the door and enter. The gumshoe freaks out. You are now inside Jack Noir's office. The gumshoe follows behind anxiously. Gumshoe. Hug the droll for comfort. Your gumshoe etiquette meter has reached such a low level from entering Jack Noir's office, you no longer care about acting like a hard-boiled detective. Thankfully, the comfort gained from hugging the droll is refilling your gumshoe etiquette meter. Droll. Waste approximately 17 hours filling out parking forms. You're currently too busy being hugged to take care of paperwork. You totally would have done it if you weren't being held against your will right now. Tough luck, you guess. Gumshoe. Get the fancy purple clothes. After refilling some of your gumshoe etiquette meter, you decide to check on the fancy purple clothes hung next to the desk. Fancy isn't really the correct word for these clothes. A more fitting term would be totally torn to shreds. You can only assume this is, or was, Jack Noir's Dursite attire. It would be kind of funny to see him dressed up with a cap and skirt though. Stuff Jack Noir's clothes in your inventory when no one's looking for future evidence. Free clothes. You put Jack Noir's Dursite attire in your inventory. These might come in handy, you guess. Hopefully that hypothetical someone in dire need of a broken telephone also needs some ripped out clothes. Turn on fenestrated walls. You turn on one of the fenestrated walls. It's unclear, but is that Jack Noir? Where is he? Who's that person next to him? Could it be the hero of Void? Droll. Scavenge the drawers for clues. Now that the gumshoe is distracted, you decide to look inside the drawers. You got a queen to find, for God's sake. This drawer contains a lot of regiswords and mysterious papers. Obtain mysterious papers. You take a closer look at the mysterious papers. These appear to just be papers mentioning the Black Queen, Black King, White Queen, and White King. They mean nothing out of context, but next to these regiswords, knowing Jack Noir yourself, this might be a hit list. This maniac better not have hurt the Queen or he's going to get a taste of your wrath. Wait a minute, one of these papers feels strangely crusty and off. This paper appears to have letters written on it, alongside numbers. You guess this is math, maybe? You're so glad no math was included in your courtyard role apprenticeship because you personally hate it, but now you find yourself in a pickle trying to understand this equation. Take the regiswords. You grab the regiswords. You suddenly feel power flowing through your veins as your grip tightens around them. These swords look sharp as razor blades. No one's gonna mess with you now. If only you had a third arm to hold them all. Juggle regiswords. Now we're talking. You no longer hold the danger, you are the danger. This will come in handy to prevent any unsolicited embraces in the future. Gumshoe. Rapidly and chaotically turn the wall knobs. You turn the wall knobs rapidly and chaotically. This is changing the view of the fenestrated wall. Some of the results appear to show nothing though. You have no idea what these places are, but it's clearly not Durst. Droll. Ask Gumshoe if she knows anything about the math you found. You show to the Gumshoe the math problem you found. She tells you that it's not a math problem, it's coordinates, silly. Gumshoe. Apply the math to the wall knobs. You just said that it's not math and that it's... never mind. You carefully set the X knob to -31 and the Y knob to -32. You didn't even realize you could set the knobs beyond 30. The view seems to have switched to Durst. And what is this place? You've never seen it before. Everyone is wearing such stunning yet prohibited outfits. This is sure to make the regulators furious. You need to get to the bottom of this. You find yourself quite interested in finding where this is. The droll tugs at your outfit. Let's not get sidetracked here. What about finding Jack Noir and the Black Queen first? Get down to brass tacks. Time to do some serious sleuthing. Well, if Jack Noir's got the coordinates to this place hidden in his drawers, then he must be involved. There's gotta be more clues about what Jack Noir is up to, and possibly where the Black Queen is inside this secret location. He does seem to hate the Queen after all. It's time to get your feet to work and hunt down where this snazzy looking place is. No secret shall hide before the Gumshoe. You strike another epic but serious pose. The droll stands beside you, unchanged.
Oh! I see what you did there. This is some kind of pattern I has to dodge. So impossible! There's no way I'm getting inside that warehouse with those spotlights. If only there was a way to turn them off. Wait a minute. Epic! There it is! Uh-oh, can't see anything in here. Good thing my phone got a flashlight. Ah! Wait, that's not Cetus at all. It's just a huge statue of them. I wonder if the knowledge batteries are still here, though. Perfect. That should be enough for the village.
The cat has returned! They've brought back the knowledge batteries! We didn't need the Hero of Light after all!
Hi, everyone. The warehouse is now safe for all of you to loot. Cetus was actually nowhere to be found. There's actually just a giant statue of them in it. Y'all can go to the warehouse safely and... Actually, hang on a sec. Southerner's calling me.
Who the hell is Cybermare?
Yo, it took me forever, but I'm done building the house to that gate you said. You, literally didn't collect anything to help me out.
Oh, whoopsies, lol. There seems to be no loss or anything to get Chris down here. How did you manage to build anything?
I deployed this grinder machine that turns anything I put in into grist and work with whatever I had around. I did the best I can. Anyway, you should be able to get to your denizen through that gate.
Oh, cool. Wait, wouldn't that gate lead me back to the warehouse?
I don't know. Why? Did you find Cetus already?
Now that I think about it, I didn't see any exit gate around the warehouse, or even that treasure denizens usually guard.
What? A treasure?
I guess the snakes all believe some lie about Cetus hiding in this warehouse.
Manon, I have no idea what any of that means.
Okay, thanks everyone for building my house up. It should lead me to where Cetus actually is.
Don't expect much. I've been busy. Struck a deal with some guy and now I gotta get a ring for him. Oh, also put down alchemy devices alongside the grinder, so you can fuse items together and gear up before you confront Cetus, just in case things go to shit. We don't have much resources left, but it's better than nothing.
Whoa, Homestead Outcome is so cool. Thank you so much, Severmare.
Yeah, I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you. Hey, what's that about a treasure?
Oh yeah, the denizen usually guard a very powerful treasure in their lair, but I don't know how you can get it without waking them up or killing them. You have to convince them to give it to you, or be very sneaky.
I see.
Anyway, alchemy montage time!